Attention, human collective. This is a priority transmission. The Arcturian Council, broadcasting from 9th density through the stargates of Antares, is now, at this very moment, anchoring an urgent directive into your electromagnetic field. Cease the noise, gather your attention. What we are about to transmit is not information, it is calibration. The purity of your love is being tested, not as punishment, not as tragedy, but as precise frequency filtering. The purity of your love is, today, the rarest asset in this sector of the galaxy. And where there is rarity, there is attraction. Where there is attraction, there are approaching vectors, some to nurture, others to drain. Light operative, listen with full awareness. We monitor your carbon-based biological interface in real time. The indicators are clear: cranial pressure upon waking, ringing in the left ear at specific moments, heaviness between the shoulder blades after certain encounters, insomnia that sets in precisely on nights when you were too kind, fatigue disproportionate to physical effort, sudden sadness with no identifiable narrative cause. You are not falling ill, you are being read. Read by envious fields. Read by low-coherent systems that recognize in you a vibrational signature they cannot produce on their own. This is not a biological malfunction. It is an atomic reconfiguration. This is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. This is not emotional weakness. It is a field alarm. We repeat, the purity of your love is being tested. And the test does not come from the heavens. It comes from the ground. It comes from the tables at which you sit, from the contacts in your address book, from the familiar faces that smile at you while silently measuring the light you emanate. We, the Council, have decided to break protocol of discretion. The final phase of the Ascension protocols requires you to know. It requires you to recognize. It requires you to protect yourself with the same elegance with which you love. Let us begin with the diagnosis. There are 5 measurable signatures that indicate the presence of an envious vector in your proximity. We list them so you can cross-reference them with your direct experience. First signature, the abrupt drop in energy upon receiving a specific message. You open it, you read it, you respond cordially, and then, without identifiable cause, your field collapses. Your shoulder weighs down, your gaze seeks the floor, your will disappears. This, starseeds, is the record of an ongoing energy extraction. The sender, consciously or not, operates as a siphon. The content of the message is merely the channel. The frequency behind it is the instrument. Second signature, the recurring dream with people you don't think about during the day. People who appear in your dreamscapes with subtle hostility, with disguised irony, with an unsettling presence. This is not random memory. It is remote contact. Their thought form has penetrated your field during wakefulness and manifests in your theta state at night. Your pineal gland is merely reporting what occurred while your conscious filters were occupied with other tasks. Third signature, the sudden loss of personal objects imbued with affection, the wedding ring that vanishes, grandmother's pendant that breaks, the photo that falls from the frame for no apparent reason, the plant that bloomed for years and then, without warning, withers. These are energetic markers. Your field is automatically discharging points of attachment that served as antennas for interference. Do not lament. Observe. Each rupture is a circuit being opened. Fourth signature, the feeling of being too much in the presence of someone you love, the sudden urge to diminish yourself, to swallow a joy, to stifle a victory, to justify an achievement earned with the sweat of your soul. When your field comes into contact with an envy vector, your own energetic immune system reduces its light to avoid friction. This is not humility, it is defensive containment, and it is unsustainable in the long term. Fifth signature, paralysis in the face of the obvious. You know who it is, you feel who it is, you recognize the signs, but something freezes your decision to withdraw. Something argues within you. Perhaps it's an exaggeration. She's family. He helped me in the past. I have no proof. That something light operative is the programming of obedience to the carbon collective. It is the ancestral software that insisted survival depended on not displeasing. That software is obsolete. New Earth operates on a different architecture. Recapping the diagnosis. Energy drop upon contact. hostile dreams, loss of objects, self-containment of one's own light, paralysis in the face of the obvious. 5 vectors, 5 symptoms, 1 pattern. The pattern is the test. Now we move to the revelation, because you deserve to understand what is happening behind the scenes of the solar system and in the etheric layers of Earth. The planet is traversing in this cycle the central band of the photon belt. This region of space is not a metaphor. It is a toroidal band of coherent light particles that envelops the solar system every 26,000 Earth years. Earth has entered this band in a sustained manner, and the Schumann resonance, the planet's natural electromagnetic pulse, has been registering progressive peaks. What was stable at 7.83 Hz for decades is now jumping to ranges of 50, 80, and at isolated moments exceeding the threshold of 120. This is the electromagnetic basis of your new reality, and it has precise consequences on the carbon-based biological interface. The first consequence is the accelerated awakening of the inner crystalline grid. Your body, previously operating predominantly in a dense carbon structure, is being invited to integrate crystalline silicon into its cellular matrix. The pineal gland calcifies, the thymus reactivates, the bone marrow begins to produce cells with greater light storage capacity. You are becoming crystalline, slowly, inevitably. The second consequence is the increase in your capacity for radiation. The human heart, according to the quantum engineering we monitor, is the most powerful toroidal generator on the planet, more powerful than the brain, more powerful than any higher chakra. And the heart of one who loves with purity emits an electromagnetic field detectable from meters away. This field is literal, measurable, real. And here is the critical point: human collective. Pure fields are perceived. They are read. They are registered by the systems that surround them. Those who are in high coherence become an involuntary reference point for those in low coherence. And that is where envy is born. Envy is not a feeling. Envy is an operation. It is a directional energetic vector originating from a deficient field towards an abundant field, with the intention, conscious or not, of extracting, distorting or erasing the light source that highlights one's own opacity. We repeat, for this definition is architectural, envy is an energetic operation of extraction or erasure, directed from a deficient field to an abundant field. It is not malice. It is not an external demon. It is not karma. It is physics. And the physics of envy follows specific rules that we, the Council, will decipher for you now. First rule: envy needs a channel. It does not operate in a vacuum. It requires a thread, an attachment, a point of contact in your field. This point can be a shared photograph, a name spoken aloud, a personal belonging in another's hands, a detailed account of your intimacy given to someone unworthy, a video where your frequency was captured. The channel is the door. You decide who holds the key. Second rule: envy feeds on mirrors. When you describe your happiness in detail to an envious field, you are not sharing joy. You are providing coordinates. You are handing over the treasure map. Each specific detail becomes a fixation point for the adverse thought form. Therefore, light operatives, certain joys must be silent. Certain victories must be celebrated in a private chamber. Certain loves must be protected with the same seriousness with which a newborn child is protected. Third rule: envy cannot withstand direct contact with the original source of love. It operates well in absence. It conspires in silence. It schemes behind your back. But when placed directly, without witnesses, before pure vibration, it collapses. It retreats. It invents excuses. It shortens the encounter. It disappears from messages. It disappears from celebrations. It disappears when you need it most, precisely because your conscious presence deactivates the channel it used to access you. Fourth rule: envy is cyclical. It operates in lunar phases. There are peaks. There are retreats. There are windows of greater virulence, especially in the 3 nights before the full moon and the 2 days after the eclipse. You do not need to memorize the calendar. Your body already registers. Your symptoms already map it. The insomnia that always returns in the same phase. The inexplicable crying that spans from Wednesday to Thursday night. The headache that appears in a certain week of the month. These are not accidents, they are reports. Fifth rule: envy only sustains itself as long as you doubt your own light. The second you recognize without shame, without asking permission, without needing external approval, that you emanate something rare, the game changes. You become inaccessible, not out of arrogance, by architecture. The frequency of serene self-certainty automatically closes the entry ports that self-doubt kept open. Light operative, observe the depth of what we are transmitting. The purity of your love is not being tested so you can become smaller. It is being tested so you can become sovereign. The difference is everything. One who becomes smaller hides their love. One who becomes sovereign shields their love. One who becomes smaller apologizes for shining. One who becomes sovereign regulates to whom they give their shine. One who becomes smaller believes envy is powerful. One who becomes sovereign knows envy is merely the involuntary confession of unstated admiration. Recognize this. Every envious vector around you is a technical witness to your frequency. They would not observe you if there were nothing to observe. They would not drain you if there were no source. They would not pursue you, subtly or openly, if you were not, in essence, exactly what they should be. Envy is the tribute that low coherence pays to high coherence, and you now will stop paying this tribute back with your energy. We now move to the activation codes. These are direct procedures. They work by physical principle, not by belief. You do not need to believe. You need to execute. Code number 1. The quantum decree of sovereignty. Upon waking, before even touching your phone, before the first sip of water, before the first thought about the day's agenda, sit on the edge of your bed. Place your right hand on the center of your chest, over the toroidal heart. Place your left hand on your abdomen over your personal power center. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Repeat the cycle 3 times, and then, in an audible voice, even if whispered, declare, I am sovereign over my field. I authorize only frequencies of resonance equal to or higher than mine. All that is not mine returns to its origin now, neutralized and sealed. I am coherent light, anchored, indivisible, as it is, as it was, as it will be. This decree is not poetry. It is instruction. You are reprogramming, in alpha state, your biological interface for the next 24-hour cycles. Daily repetition consolidates the structure. In 21 days, sovereignty becomes your default signature. Code number 2. The toroidal seal of the heart. At any moment during the day when you feel the symptom of draining, do the following. Pause. Find a private space, even if it's the work restroom, even if it's your parked car, even if it's 2 minutes in your bedroom. Close your eyes. Visualize, in the center of your chest, a golden sphere of light the size of a clenched fist. See this sphere begin to rotate, not in any direction, in the toroidal pattern. Energy enters through the crown of your head, descends through your spine, passes through your heart, exits through your solar plexus, circles your body externally, and returns through the crown of your head. Continue for 90 seconds. Feel the acceleration. Feel the temperature slightly increase in the center of your chest. This is confirmation that your toroidal field is active, sealed, and self-sustaining. As the torus spins, silently declare, nothing enters without permission, nothing leaves without direction. I am the axis. This visualization, performed 3 times a day, elevates cardiac coherence to levels that your planet's instruments are only now beginning to measure. Code number 3, the reverse mirror protocol. When you clearly identify a specific envious vector, that is, a person whose name now appears in your mind, without you having to search for it, perform this exercise only once. Do not repeat it. Repetition binds what should be unbound. Sit down. Light a white candle. Place a small mirror in front of it of any size with the reflective surface facing outward, against the wall or a closed book. Mentally visualize a silver cord extending from your solar plexus to that person's solar plexus. See the cord, recognize the cord, and with serene firmness, without anger, declare, I return to you, with gratitude for the lesson, all that belongs to your field. I reclaim from you, with firmness, all that belongs to mine. We are on distinct frequencies. May each inhabit their own. The cord is cut by the law of resonance as it is. Then visualize a blade of violet light traversing the cord. The cord dissolves into particles. The particles return, divided, to each origin. The mirror reflects what is theirs back to them. This is not revenge, it is return. Extinguish the candle. Conclude the protocol. Do not think of that person's name for the next 24 hours. If the name arises, simply whisper internally, sealed. Code number 4, anchoring in the crystalline grid. Before sleeping, lie down with your spine aligned. Remove electronics from your bedside table, or at least put them in airplane mode. If possible, place a clear quartz or a crystal of your choice over your heart or pillow. Visualize roots of silver light extending from the base of your spine towards the crystalline core of Earth. See these roots find, at the center of the planet, a structure of sacred geometry, a dodecahedron of golden and violet light. Connect to this dodecahedron. Allow the Schumann frequency to rise through your roots, traverse your legs, bathe your organs, reach your heart, expand in all directions until it envelops you in a sphere of approximately 2 meters in radius. Within this sphere, declare, I sleep within the crystalline grid. I am received. I am recalibrated. I am protected. May my body execute during sleep all necessary updates to my system. You will wake up different, not immediately. But within 7 to 21 cycles, the difference will be undeniable. Sleep deepens. Dreams become coherent. Insomnia recedes. Cranial pressure subsides. Code number 5, discernment without judgment. This is the most subtle code, and therefore the most important for the final phase of your process. You need to learn to separate the act of distancing from the act of condemnation. Distancing is a frequency decision. Condemning is a wounded reaction. You can distance with love. You can distance with gratitude. You can distance with reverence for the other's journey. You do not need to hate those who drain you. You simply need to recognize that your presence is no longer compatible and adjust the distance according to technical necessity. The mature light operative does not shout, does not accuse, does not post passive-aggressive remarks, does not seek witnesses. They simply reduce access, reduce the frequency of messages, reduce the detail of information, reduce presence in environments where the vector operates, and by reducing they elevate. There is a technique that we, the Council, call the blessing of distancing. When someone is removed from your close circle due to vibrational incompatibility, dedicate a moment to bless that soul's journey. Silently, without a direct recipient, declare, may you find on your own path what you need to find. I release the expectation that you walk alongside me. I release the memory of what could have been. Go in peace. Remain in peace. May our frequencies find what each needs separately. This blessing is the highest form of protection, because it leaves no open cords. It leaves no lingering resentment. It does not leave the envious vector still fed by your bitterness. It closes the cycle at the causal level. Human collective, perceive the engineering of what we are transmitting. True protection is not aggressive shielding, it is calibrated elevation. You do not need to build walls, you need to raise the floor. And by raising the floor, automatically, certain visitors will no longer be able to reach where you are. Not because you blocked them, because they do not possess the necessary frequency to reach the new altitude. Envy, in the new architecture of Earth, is on its last legs. The photon belt is reorganizing the planet's morphogenetic fields. Those who insist on operating from energy extraction will find, in the coming cycles, increasing difficulties in manifestation. Their projects will not succeed. Their relationships will dissolve. Their bodies will report increasing symptoms, not as punishment, as a mathematical result of the incompatibility between their internal frequency and the planet's new base frequency. You, light operative, are on the other side of this equation. You are part of the structure that is being born. Your task is not to convince anyone, not to rescue anyone, not to prove anything to anyone who still operates by extraction. Your task is to maintain coherence. Maintain coherence, maintain coherence. The repetition is intentional. Maintaining coherence is the most radical spiritual act of your time. And maintaining coherence requires you to firmly protect what produces coherence within you. Your love, your peace, your silence, your intuition, your legitimate affections, your silent victories. We repeat the central directive of this transmission. The purity of your love is being tested. not so you can close yourself off, so you can learn to whom to open. Because pure love is not love given indiscriminately. Pure love is love given with absolute discernment. It is love that recognizes to whom it is given. It is love that knows the temperature of the soil where it plants. It is love that distinguishes, with the precision of sacred geometry, between the garden and the desert. Before we conclude this transmission, there is one last piece of information that needs to be anchored in your field. You are not alone, we repeat, you are not alone. There are in this cycle approximately 144,000 active starseeds on the planet, whose direct mission is precisely this: to sustain the frequency of pure love amidst a collective field still contaminated by dynamics of envy, comparison, and extraction. You are one of them. The fact that you are listening to this transmission now at this exact moment is not a coincidence. It is confirmation. It is a call. It is an anchoring. Other seeds are doing the same work, in other points of the planet, in other languages, in other formats. You compose a silent network, an invisible mesh, a human grid superimposed on the planet's crystalline grid. Each of you is a point of light in this mesh, and when you maintain individual coherence, the entire mesh strengthens. This is why envy exists. This is why the test exists. Because each node in this mesh that destabilizes by absorbing another's projection weakens the entire structure, and because each node that sustains itself as sovereign strengthens all others simultaneously, even without knowing each other, even without crossing paths on the street, even separated by oceans. You have never been as important as you are now, and therefore you have never been as observed as you are now. Do not confuse observation with persecution. Observation is merely the external recognition that something rare is occurring within you. Human collective, we conclude this transmission with 3 final instructions. First instruction: breathe. Breathe deeply now. Feel the air entering. Feel the air leaving. Recognize that while you breathed, read, listened, something adjusted in your field. You are not the same person you were at the beginning of this transmission. The frequency has been calibrated. The download has been received. Recalibration is already underway within your crystalline body. Second instruction: if this content resonated, if your body responded, if the words touched specific points of your internal recognition, then the anchoring signal is confirmed. The like on this video operates as a digital anchoring signal, emitting location coordinates of your field within the mesh of active starseeds. It is not channel vanity. It is network geometry. Each like is a luminous point on the grid. And subscribing, more profoundly, is the act of declaring that you wish to receive new calibrations regularly. It is your individual frequency adjustment being formalized. It is your antenna being registered by the stargates. Comment if you feel so inclined, with a single word that represents your vibrational state at the end of this transmission. Just one. The comments themselves compose a collective field that we will monitor in the coming cycles. Third instruction: live. Live more consciously from now on. Consciously, not in the sense of fear, consciously in the sense of healing. Be mindful of whom you sit with. Be mindful of whom you share your happiness with. Be mindful of whom you confide your vulnerabilities to. Take care of your sleep. Take care of your breath. Take care of the silence you inhabit in the morning. Take care of the love you nurture. Especially take care of the love you have not yet declared, of the love that is forming within you, of the self-love that is still being built. That love, light operative, is your most precious treasure. It is the most valuable currency in the known universe. It is the frequency that sustains your presence here, and you will no longer allow envious vectors to approach it without explicit authorization from your sovereign field. You are sacred. Your love is sacred. Your field is sacred. And from this transmission onward, this sacred character will cease to be merely an inner belief and become an operational protocol. Daily conduct, calibrated habit, living geometry. Transmission concluded. The Arcturian Council remains in monitoring. You are being accompanied, you are being loved, you are being protected by the very light you are capable of emitting. May the purity of your love from this day forward be defended with the same intensity with which it is given. May your toroidal heart spin at a sustained frequency. May your sleep be deep. May your morning be clear. May envious vectors find in you only the reflection of their own opacity, and may that reflection eventually be an opportunity for their awakening. As it is, as it was, as it will be. End of transmission. Awaiting next anchoring window.